Tonawanda for its cooperation, not only with trucks but drivers to help us in this matter. And the town of Amherst has also cooperating and has moved equipment and drivers into the town of Lancaster. So I want to thank both Supervisor Caruana from Tonawanda and Supervisor Weinstein from Amherst and the highway superintendents there, Bill Swanson in Tonawanda, and I wish I forget who's in Amherst right now. Bob Anderson. In Amherst, who've graciously cooperated as their roads are, there's really no issues, so they're helping with address this. Buildings and Grounds has a plan of action. We have a plan of action to address this. We have identified key roads that need to be cleaned first. Our main issue right now is getting tow truck drivers, which we've identified a number of tow truck companies that are assisting us, as well as high lifts to get in, move around the cars, allow the tow truck drivers to pull the cars out and then get a line through. We're primarily going to focus on Seneca Street, Ridge Road, and Lackawanna, West Seneca as an east-west route to start with, and we're also going to be trying to clear off Harlem Road. As we said, the DOT and Cheektowaga and West Seneca are working on Union Road, and there was at one time a one-lane open in Union, but it appears it may be backed up again due to snowfall. Erie County will be focusing on that. We've identified dump sites for snow. I want to thank the owners of the Seneca Mall. They've agreed to use the Seneca Mall parking lots, the old Seneca Mall parking lot area, for a dump site for snow that we pick up with high lifts. We put in trucks and then we'll dump them. It's just that much snow. That's how we're unfortunately going to have to take care of it. Tow truck operators, Rosniaks and Buffalo Towing, have been identified and have been retained by the county to immediately assist them in moving vehicles off of those two main roads and other roads as necessary to get plows through. We are coordinating with our partners. NFTA, as of last, the airport is open and planes are flying in and out. Bus routes are open in the north towns, though it's my understanding all bus routes in the south towns and parts of the city are closed and will not be operational for some time. I want to, at this time, bring up to the microphone Andy Eisenberg from the New York State Office of Court Administration, who can tell us what the schedule for courts will be tomorrow. Andy?
Good afternoon. Tomorrow we will be closing all state and county courts located in downtown Buffalo. In addition, Buffalo City Court will be closed tomorrow and Lackawanna City Court will be closed tomorrow. All cases scheduled are adjourned and jurors should not report for duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. As I said, we are coordinating with our partners. Meals on Wheels was not delivered today. We have not gotten notice, but we do not expect them to deliver tomorrow because we're expecting the same areas to be dealing with this. So at this time, if an individual relies on Meals on Wheels for a warm delivery food, we ask that the neighbors please check in on them to ensure that your seniors or your neighbors are receiving meals, because it's doubtful that they will have Meals on Wheels delivered for 2 days in a row. Something that's a significant concern that we're worried about are hospitals and the staff of hospitals. Do hospitals have appropriate staff to deal with? And I'm going to turn this over to our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Gail Burstein.
Thank you. Thank you. So obviously in the areas where there is a huge snow burden, the hospitals are having more challenging staffing. First of all, South Buffalo Mercy has no access to it, so that's a big problem. People cannot get into South Buffalo Mercy to work. People can't get to South Buffalo Mercy to be seen in their emergencies department, so that is a huge problem right now that we're again, as the County Executive mentioned, we're trying to address with trying to open up the roads. The Mercy Ambulatory Care Center does have some access, have road access, so that is available. As far as ECMC, there again, that is full access. The roads are available. They're in pretty good shape for staffing. So dialysis units were open today. They were doing full operations in terms of emergency services, including emergency surgeries. So that is more well staffed. some staff from the south towns who weren't able to get in were able to get coverage by their colleagues from the north towns. And just in terms of Kaleida Health, they're a little bit more challenged. They still have some challenges getting staff in from the north towns. They have, the last I was able to speak with them, they had about 90% staff, but most of them were working overtime, and they're challenged with trying to get a replacement for those staff. So again, if people are sick, if it's not an emergency, please try to stay home. The ambulances are responding, but they are on a delayed response. So someone will hopefully be able to come to your door, but it may be delayed. And for people in very outlying areas where there is a huge snowfall, we're working with our partners, with law enforcement, police, to try to get to people, to try to bring them to roads where there is access, where ambulances can take them. Also, we do have some snowmobiles deployed to also get to people in very hard to reach places that do have an emergency. So again, if you're not very, very ill, or you have no other reason to go outside, please stay indoors and please stay safe.
Thank you, Doc. First responders, with regards to ambulance services the doc referred to, we know that in certain areas of South Buffalo, Lackawanna, West Seneca, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, ambulance service is delayed. If ambulances have not been able to immediately respond, the Erie County Sheriff's Office has been responding, and they have, I know they dealt with a pregnancy earlier as well as a heart attack. So if an ambulance could not get down, Erie County Sheriff's vehicles using the Tahoes and four-wheel drive have been able to assist in some of those folks. But if you do call for ambulance service in those areas, it is all likelihood going to be delayed. Though ambulance, they are handling the calls that come. It's just taking much longer than it normally would. I know there are people who are stranded in their vehicles, and I know some people are saying, what should they do? You're entering a period where it's going to get dark, and it certainly is going to get colder. If you have the ability to leave and go to, with a emergency responder, to go to a shelter, please do it. Don't stay in your vehicle. We are asking individuals who have not identified where they are to call 911, which will go through the Erie County 911 system here. All cell phone calls come through our Erie County Public Safety Building E911 service. We will then route those calls to the applicable police department. We truly do not want people staying in the vehicles any longer than they need to. We know that there are people stranded on the thruway still. We know there are people that may be stranded on the 219 and some of the other roads. So if you are in a vehicle, it is incumbent upon you to at least let the police know where you are. If you have the ability to go, if you can get out of your vehicle and walk to a gas station, do it so you can go somewhere it's warm. We don't want you sitting in a vehicle all day long and all night long, especially as within a couple hours it will be dark. As I said, we have a short-term plan, we have a long-term plan. We're entering the third of fourth operational periods, 12-hour periods, which start at 6 o'clock. We will be having turnover at our Emergency Operations Center. There will be some new staff coming in, replacing individuals who truthfully, like myself, have been working all night. And we will continue to do that as long as we can, but thankfully we've been able to get more staff to do that. Wednesday, people are wondering, what about tomorrow? The driving ban is still in effect in the communities that I noted earlier. The limited state of emergency is still in effect in each and every one of those communities. If it appears it needs to be extended for another town that's not included, especially if this ban goes south, I will readily do it if warranted, but right now we have not needed to do that because the snow has not really moved. So as of right now, each one of the communities, as I referred to earlier, which is the City of Buffalo south of Genesee Street, City of Lackawanna, towns of Alden, Aurora, Hamburg, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, West Seneca, Elma, Marilla, Hamburg, and Orchard Park, as well as the villages of Alden, Sloan, Depew, Lancaster, Blaisdell, Hamburg, East Aurora, and Orchard Park. There is a state of emergency in each and every one of those municipalities, and there is a driving ban. And I was very pleased earlier when I heard the mayor agreed with me that if you violate the driving ban, you will be subject to ticketing. And both the City of Buffalo and I know Erie County Sheriff's officers will be doing the same thing. Truthfully, folks, we got more important things to do than to pull you over for driving when you shouldn't be driving. The only people, and I say the only people, who should be on the streets in these communities are people who are emergency responders. Simple as that. Those are the only people who should be on the streets, because truthfully, you might not even the emergency responders are still having a very difficult time getting to the emergency operations center or elsewhere. Our undersheriff attempted to get to the emergency operations center.
Good afternoon. I'm forewarned meteorologist Don Paul with a lake effect storm update. Our lake effect snow warning continues until midday tomorrow, an advisory for lesser amounts in Allegheny County, while the lake snow has stayed nearly stationary this afternoon, producing a complete paralysis in many of the Buffalo South towns, the eastern suburbs, and even extreme South Buffalo. But when we do get through with this storm, just a few minutes ago, the National Weather Service has elevated a lake effect snow watch that we told you about yesterday for late tomorrow night into early Friday to a warning. Another major lake effect event will be starting up tomorrow night. Let's take a look now at forewarned Doppler radar, and you can see the extent of this band going the full fetched length of Lake Erie, giving it the chance to pick up enormous amounts of moisture and continue to dump the moisture right over Blaisdell, Lackawanna, extreme South Buffalo, Depew, Lancaster, West Seneca, producing paralyzing conditions with no travel possible on most of these roads. And you are urged, please do not attempt travel within this band. It's been nearly stationary during the afternoon. And here are the additional amounts modeled to fall tonight into tomorrow in advance of the next storm. And let's run these numbers through, and you can see the focus stays over southern Erie County and the nearby South towns, with much less accumulation potential from downtown Buffalo to the north. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, that lake snow will shift northward as winds become more southerly by morning, producing some very modest accumulations in northern Erie and Niagara County. But late tomorrow night, another lake effect band will take shape north of Buffalo, and this one will not spare the north towns. It will drop across the north town suburbs into the metro area by Thursday morning before heading back to the Buffalo South towns later on Thursday. That system may produce an additional 1 to 2 feet on top of the enormous amounts we have now. And in fact, some of the most stricken areas in the Buffalo South towns and eastern suburbs can see storm totals by late tonight from this storm of 50 to 70 or even more than 70 inches. That's not drifts. For those of you in the north towns, that is actual measured snowfall, with more on the way. I'll have details on this ongoing storm and the next one that's coming, with an updated accumulation projection coming up on News 4 at 5. See you then.